Hello everyone, welcome to another show of this leader show with Varun Rawal, who is a beautiful human being inside out. He is a customer experience leader helping people deal effectively with communication with another people. How beautiful this mission is yours. Thank you so much for the work that you are doing. Like hats off to you and your efforts, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's an honor to be your guest, to be your host here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gargi. I think it's an honor for me to be your guest. So
Awesome.
at such a young age, honestly, I've first of all, I don't do many interviews. I've not done it. I don't think I've been part of many interviews, but this is one of the few. And with someone like you who's accomplished so much at such a young age, so it's a pleasure, really. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the kind words. So now my first question to you is every person has a story. So what led you on this path to help people deal with communication skills with other people? So how did you start, or what was that inspiration moment for you?
Okay. As such, there was not one particular moment, but it was like a set of experiences and just life in general. So I feel as a child, I was not very good at communication. I was not very good at talking. I found it very hard to even talk to my teachers at school. Because of course at home I couldn't really communicate with my parents in English. So the household language was Hindi or Punjabi. So that's what I knew. But then again, I think lack of this bit, which was being able to communicate in English at school, got me very conscious and very, very worried. So I used to practice a lot. I used to practice a lot alone, reading from a book aloud and trying to just like find ways to watch interviews and read more. And then accidentally, I just happened to, do hotel management, which led me to talk to, a lot of people at work, connect, network, and it just became better and better. And that's where I realized that being able to handle other human beings effectively by means of communication is just something that everyone should be able to do, at least try to.
Yes, I feel that communication is the one thing that each one of us should, go on mastering that, because without it, nothing is possible. So, thank you for the work that you do. Now, my next question is what are some of the key habits that you follow in order to stay productive?
Right. Key habits. I'm extremely passionate about fitness, and of course, this is something which is so important in my life that even if I do go one day without going to the gym, though that happens, maybe I will skip 1 or 2 days, but I do tend to get back because I don't skip maybe a week. I used to do that earlier, but this is something which has been an integral part of my life from very early on. How do I uh, stay on track and be productive? I think productivity at work is very much related to how productive I am with my workouts in the morning. I'm just giving you one example. So I think having a good morning routine, waking up slightly early, all these productivity gurus talk about so much right now. Do not look at your phone. Practically for me, that is impossible. I do look at my phone because, I mean, it's just very difficult. I've started meditating after my workouts, but I feel what keeps me going is an hour or 45 minutes at the gym, and then maybe a quick 10-minute breathing exercises, and then every day something like this. And I think that helps me be very productive at work.
Okay, super awesome. You have explained the productivity concept in such an easy way that all of us, most of us feel that don't look at your phone before night, sleep early to get up early, all of these things. But the way you have put it in an authentic manner, it's simply like fantabulous. Thank you for adding those perspectives.
No, thank you. It just whatever works for
Yes.
people, but it doesn't make any sense copying
Yes.
whatever everyone's talking about.
Hmm. Okay, so my next question to you is why do you feel authenticity is important? Like in this world, people are wearing a lot of masks in order to become like a good person or to be in everyone's good books. But how can we make them realize that authenticity is the first value that they should follow?
It's a very interesting question, but I feel the realization has to happen from within. Um, because the thing is, so I work very extensively in sales. I also lead a large team, and this is something which I write a lot about on LinkedIn. Also, is that you can't sell unless you are being your true self and connecting with people, and are you're genuinely interested in the lives of other people, right? Now, a lot of people, as you rightly said, Gargi, they put a front, right? They will be nice to you, but the thing is, even you at 16 years would not take a long time to realize that, what, this person is not really genuine. uh, I think our vibes give it away, right? Your smile, your eye contact, the way you speak, the way you ask questions. So I feel it's something that can be learned, yes, to answer your question, but also that will to learn has to come from within, right? You can't just take a course on how to be your authentic self. This is solely my view. I'm sure a lot of people will have their view, but this is something which I feel I genuinely like to talk to people. And my clients have told me that, we would like to do this deal with you because we trust the way you say, and you convince us. And that's actually very true, because I would never lie to them, and I would never give them a substandard service or a product if they have put their faith in me.
You have correctly said. I do agree with you because authenticity is one thing which you can learn, but until and unless it doesn't come from within, even if you are learning and trying to be authentic, it won't come like true, as if you are being your true self. So, yes, you
Yeah.
have added the correct point. Now, my next question to you is public speaking is the first fear of every person rather than death. Like a survey was conducted, and in it, death was the last fear of people. The first one was public speaking. So, any tips for that, or anything that you would like to share? How did you overcome this?
In all honesty, again, since we are only being honest here, I didn't overcome it. Probably I did, but I overcame that fear after going repeatedly out there and failing. I have embarrassed myself. I have fumbled. In Super Speaker also, on the first round, I feel I went in first, and I did struggle a little bit. But I think that has been my journey. I overcoming public speaking fear was just going out there and doing it constantly, because you do it enough. Uh, After some time, it just doesn't feel stressful anymore, because a lot of people will give you these tips. Imagine that no one's watching you, or maybe just look at the wall, or these things. But personally, these things did not really work for me. What worked for me was just become shameless and just talk.
Become shameless and just talk. Love that formula and the way you have put it across. Now that you have mentioned you were a part of the super speaker, and first of all, hats off to you, because out of 2 lakh registrations, selected in among top 10 was not easy, and it was not easy. But any major lesson did you learn throughout the journey, or what was your total experience of that full super speaker season 2?
Oh, it was it was one of the best things that happened last year for me. Um, Again, talking about public speaking, I would also say talking in front of the camera was something which was a fear for me. And while recording a lot of videos with Super Speaker, that fear I feel disappeared, because there were so many videos that we had to record, and every time I would just look at my video and I would be like, you know what, I just can't watch myself on the camera. But then I got used to it. That was one learning definitely which I have taken, and I've become much better at it according to me. And I think there were many different challenges which we had to work on. So there was a lot of self introspection wherein I found and figured out things about myself which I did not really know earlier, or probably I knew, but then I was just not very well aware of it.
Okay, so it taught you the self-awareness concept. That
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, super awesome. And self-awareness, I think, is the first step towards anything you want to achieve. Because if you are not aware of where you are, you can't go to the next level. Great.
Absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely. You have said it better than I did. So
No, I was just concluding it. Great. So my next question to you is, like, I want to ask you in the introvert perspective. Like, introverts, they feel that, you know what, they can't do this, or some kind of fear. The resistance is too much that even if they want to expand themselves and come out in the world as their best version, they are not able to. Some can, but some aren't. So I myself is the biggest introvert, but due to the work I do, I have opened up myself. Otherwise, personal level, I'm still an introvert. So what advice would you give them so that they can come out of their shell?
You have answered this question yourself already. I'll tell you how. So you and I both, Gargi, are introverts. I think I'm also an introvert. All right. So what helped me was purposely putting myself in situation where I had to interact with people. Just like how I said, right, in one of the previous questions, that how did you overcome stage fear? That was me basically going out there repeatedly and not fearing what people would say about me, right? And something similar on how introverts can become better is just talk to people. Put yourself in situations at office, volunteer to give that presentation, because someone will say, oh, you know what, a boss would ask in the team member in a meeting, who would want to present. So even if you're not confident, just raise your hand, and then you do not have a choice to back out, right? And that way you just build your confidence as an introvert. I'm not saying you will become an extrovert, but at least you will not strain, you will get out of your shell, as you asked, right?
Great. I remember the first time I went offline in an event, I completely went off the topic because it was my first time being offline, giving an offline talk, and it was completely a disaster if I look back. So I don't know how people thought about me, but after doing that, I felt very embarrassed. So we have to go.
Sometimes as speakers, and when you're talking on the stage, you do criticize yourself a lot, because you know what, I was supposed to say this line at this point, which I missed. But what I've realized is a lot of people who are listening to you do not feel that way. It's just you who is over criticizing your own self. And I do the same. So I completely agree to what you're saying.
Yes. So everything starts with a failing point, and then we can learn.
And learning, I would not say failing, I would rephrase it to learning, but you're right.
Yes.
Yeah. When you fail, you learn, right?
Yes. Awesome. Great. Now, how can people join you if suppose someone wants to connect with you?
Okay. I did start an Instagram channel some time back, but unfortunately, because of my work, I haven't been able to post a lot of content there. It's been a while. But I do actively engage and post and share a lot of things on my LinkedIn. And that is like a daily post, and it's all about communication, how to effectively communicate, how to deal with people, how to deal with difficult situations, and so on.
So the task for all of you is going to be in the description. All the links are going to be mentioned. So just follow him and you are going to receive a lot of gold. Thank you so much.
That's
Now,
very kind of you. Thank you.
now my one last question to you is like, you have shared a lot of messages with all of us, and those are all gold. So if I can say, it was all gold if we apply into our lives. But what will be your one last message that you really want to, convey to all the people?
Well, I would say that the underlying principle and the reason behind I do what I do is just with one intention, that uh, of being kind and empathetic to everyone. And because once you have those two things as your intention behind any communication, I think you will never really be disappointed after the end of any dialogue. So when you're being kind and empathetic towards other human beings, and not just human beings, even towards any other living beings, I would say. But yes, we are talking about communication. We're talking about dealing with people in corporate setting, in non-corporate setting. So yeah, I feel that's the one thing I would say, is that get into any discussion, any dialogue with another person with an intention of being kind and empathetic towards that person. It could be professional discussion, it could be a personal discussion, and chances of you achieving what you want to achieve out of that conversation would be very high.
You have correctly mentioned the right point of kindness, because all of us in today's world, we are looking for a kind person. Rather, through your message, what I could get is, be that kind person. You will stop looking for it because you have it. You just can't see it. So thank you so much for being here on this show. It was truly an honor and it was simply magical. All of you, we would love for you to comment down below your key takeaways from this video, because the way he has been authentic and open with all of us, it's just truly commendable. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed.
I loved it, Gargi, and I think before I leave, I would want to ask you a question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Tell me, why do you do what you do? Because you do it so well, and you have so much passion and so much enthusiasm at 16. I constantly won't say that, because of course age is just a number, but
yes,
where does it come from?
It has all come from my experience of being in depression. So during COVID pandemic, I was in depression because I lost someone I loved. And it was not because of death, but because of some clashes in our family. So it impacted me to such a great level that I was completely shattered from inside. And from there on, I started watching motivational videos. I started watching the motivating things, but it was all temporary. It never satisfied, it never gave me a permanent solution. And then the first step that I did was I started loving myself. And from there on, I started writing a book. Then I got an opportunity to become a motivational speaker and then a certified life coach. And yes, I'm here today. It was never expected that I will do this work, but it all started with my inner motivation to search for motivation. But then it became a mission to help other people live a life that they can be proud of. So this is the whole story. Yes.
Wow. I'm so glad that we connected. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Gargi.
Thank you so much.
And all the best to you.
Same to you.